And ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to the E. Stewart Grant Center for tonight's USA South women's volleyball matchup between the Fighting Squirrels of Mary Baldwin and the Cougars of Averett University. I'm Davin Wilson. I will be on the call for tonight's game. I will be joined momentarily by men's basketball member Brandon B-Bakes Baker. He will be joining me here on the ones and twos for the commentary of tonight's game, and we will have all the kills, the digs, the defensive stops, the offensive stops, the service aces, all the fun stuff that makes volleyball. We will have it here for you tonight, and we will have it live here on the Averett Sports Network. So we're going to take a quick overlook here at these two teams on the Danville Mall pregame show. First off, Mary Baldwin coming in 0-11 so far on the season, looking for its first win in its USA South Conference opener, going up against the Cougars of Averett University, who come in 10-2. The Cougars are looking to extend their win streak to 4 after sweeping their 3 matches at the Maryville College Tournament last weekend. And as I mentioned earlier, Mary Baldwin is looking for its first win of the season after dropping its last match to Southern University by a score of 3-0. And in the last meeting between Averett and Baldwin, the Cougars came out victorious 3-1. So right now we have a tale of two different teams going up against each other here tonight. On one hand, we had the Fighting Squirrels, who are looking for their first win of the season in the USA South Conference opener for both sides. And then on the other hand, you had the Cougars, who come in riding a hot streak right now. The Cougars have not lost in their last 9 sets, and they will look to run that streak to 12 if they can get through the Fighting Squirrels in a straight 3-set sweep here tonight. So we are roughly about 17 minutes from the start of tonight's game. We're going to take a look at some players to watch for Averett. Got Sarah Smoot coming in. She was named the USA South Player of the Week on September the 18th. And then you have Emily Stanley, who recorded 20 digs in a 3-0 sweep over Maryville College. And that is very surprising considering Candace Stram's squad is always well coached, and both usually meetings between the Scots and the Cougars go down to the full 5. So kind of surprising there to see Averett coming through with the 3-set sweep, but at the same time really not surprising, as this Danny Miller squad is one of the strongest in recent years, and there is a lot of buzz around this ball team right now as they are looking to continue the success they found last season, winning the USA South regular season conference championship and then making it all the way to the USA South Conference final matchup before falling to Meredith in 5 sets. And ladies and gentlemen, I was there for that contest, and that was one of the most thrilling ball games I have seen in my 4 years here at Averett University. So, as I mentioned, both of these teams right now just looking at different things. Averett looking to try to keep its momentum riding. And meanwhile, Mary Baldwin looking to start gaining a little bit of momentum here early on in the conference season. Of course, as you know, it doesn't matter what the overall record is at the end of the year. It's how you finish in the USA South Conference standings. And we have seen plenty of teams coming in right at 500 overall for the season, or even under 500 for the season, that they come in, they do well in the conference, they make the tournament, and then usually they at least have an opportunity to make a deep run. So we'll see if Mary Baldwin can get that started off here tonight, or if Averett will continue the Fighting Squirrels losing ways and make it 12 straight for Mary Baldwin. So right now, Averett just coming in, as I mentioned earlier, on an absolute tear. They've won 3 in a row, 5 out of their last 7. Their first loss, Averett actually started off the season with 5 consecutive wins. Actually won their first 12 sets Then they ended up going into battle with national powerhouse Virginia Wesleyan, but the Cougars still came out against a mighty Marlin squad with a 3-1 victory. So, if you're going to lose that first set of the year, have it be to a good team. And, that's definitely something that Averett did. Then they would actually follow that matchup that following weekend with a 3-0 loss to Johns Hopkins. They followed that up with a 3-1 victory over Susquehanna. Then bounced back, grabbed another 3-1 victory against Mary Washington, and then dropped a heartbreaker to Randolph-Macon 3-2 in the University of Mary Washington tournament. So they finished that at a even 2-2, and then coming into the Maryville College tournament, they ended up taking all 3 sets. So from here, the Cougars will host Bridgewater on Friday here at the Grand Center at 7 p.m. Then they travel down to Fayetteville, North Carolina for a conference quad match, as they will start action on Saturday against Methodist, and they will round out their stay in that quad match with a game against William Peace that following day. Then they'll take the trip up to Ferrum. Then they will end the month of September with 2 USA South Conference home contests against Meredith and Salem, respectively. So Averett right now really looking at getting through the crux of its schedule, getting through the meat and potatoes of it, and coming out still with a lot of confidence and coming through with a solid record. And, of course, no doubt here you've got Hannah Shields, one of the big players to look out for this Averett team. And she comes in 187 kills, a team high by 89. Sarah Smoot, the closest one to Shields. Shields also leads in digs with 184. And it's going to be Emily Stanley coming in behind her with 161. And then Keena Marks coming through with 96. So right now, Mackenzie Miller, the standout freshman so far this season for the Cougars. Not a surprise there, being head coach Danny Miller's daughter. She's definitely had the coaching that she's needed throughout her career, and it is paying off so far here at Averett as she leads the team in total service aces with 23. And then you also have Keena Marks coming in behind her with 22. So that's going to do it here for the Danville Mall pregame show. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with you here in 11 minutes and 55 seconds for the pregame festivities and the start of tonight's matchup between Averett and Mary Baldwin. Keep it locked right here on the Averett Sports Network. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Grant Center as we are now 10 seconds away from the beginning of everything here tonight at the Grant Center, where Averett University is about ready to take on Mary Baldwin University here in the USA South opener for both of these two teams. We're going to take a look here at the starting lineup for the Averett Cougars. We've got Micaiah Patterson, Emily Stanley, Hannah Shields, Sarah Smoot, Hayden Riggensby, Lexi Rosenbaum, and number 22, Keenan Marks. For the Fighting Squirrels, we've got Nyla Isaac, Brenda Corlson, Michaela Beverly, Kelly Slack, Michaela Scott, and the Fighting Squirrels are coached by Ruth Thompson, and the Cougars are coached by Danny Miller in his 23rd season. He is assisted by Annie DeLloyd and Matt Stoltz. And we're going to take a quick break for the national anthem here on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back after the national anthem brought to you courtesy of the Averett University Singers, who is directed by Ann Lewis. And so we're going to, once again, if you are just joining us, we're going to take a look at the starting lineups for both teams. First, for the visiting Fighting Squirrels, we've got Nyla Isaac, out of El Paso, Texas. Then we got Brenda Corlson out of Tappahannock, Virginia. Number 8, Michaela Beverly out of Colonial Beach, Virginia. Number 11, setter Kelly Slack out of Archdale, North Carolina. And then number 21, Michaela Scott out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. The Fighting Squirrels are coached by Ruth Thompson. And now the starting lineup for your Averett University Cougars. First off, we've got Micaiah Patterson. She is backed up by Emily Stanley. Hannah Shields follows. Coming behind Shields is number 7, Sarah Smoot. Then we've got number 19, Hayden Rigsby. She is backed up by number 20, Lexi Rosenbaum. And rounding out the starting 7 for the Cougars, number 22, Keenan Marks. The Cougars are coached by Danny Miller in his 23rd season, and he is assisted by Annie DeLloyd and Matt Stoltz. So once again, I'm Davin Wilson. I'm joined here tonight by men's basketball player Brandon Baker. B-Bakes, thanks for hopping on the broadcast with me here tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me tonight.
Well, I always appreciate the opportunity to not have to talk to myself for 2.5 hours. So, as I said, thanks for hopping on. And Brandon, both of these, teams right now, it's really a tale of two cities. Mary Baldwin comes in right now 0-11. Right now, still looking for their first win of the season. Meanwhile, the Cougars come in on an absolute tear. They have won 9 consecutive sets. They have a 10-2 overall record right now, and looking to start the defense of their regular USA South regular season championship here tonight with a victory. And we'll see if that happens, or Mary Baldwin is able to pull off the upset. So we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm Davin Wilson, joined here by Brandon B-Bakes Baker. And both teams in their huddles right now, and that can only mean one thing. We are getting ready for the start of tonight's match. And Brandon, I've always liked the Cougars pre-match warm-up music with Let Go by Trick Daddy there. That was back in my high school days, back in the early 2000s. So.
Yeah, they got some throwbacks playing today. I like it.
They do. I'll be interested to see y'all's music.
Oh, yeah.
Or hear y'all's music this year as well. So basketball, that is.
Yeah, me too.
So it looks like the Cougars are going to be starting things off here. Keenan Marks back on the line. Not a bad crowd here at the Grand Center, considering it is a Wednesday night. Looking to cheer their Cougars on to at least a 10-set winning streak. And here's Marks' serve. And Marks, a little bit too much mustard on that serve. It goes out of bounds, and so Mary Baldwin now to a quick 1-0 lead. So we're going to have Isaac back on the line now to serve for the Fighting Squirrels. And Shields plays a ball that perhaps she shouldn't have. Stanley tries to chase it down, but unable to. The ball goes out and give Isaac the service ace, and Mary Baldwin has a 2-0 lead to start things off. So Stanley, Marks, Emma's going to get up to number 20, Rosenbaum, and Rosenbaum is going to bring the house down with a kill, and that will represent the Cougars' first points. They trail 2-1. Hannah Shields back on the line to serve. Here it comes. Shields right down the middle, and that's going to be number 8, Beverly, trying to handle that, but she is unable to. And all of a sudden, we've got a tie ball game at 2 as Shields, with her 2 consecutive service aces, now has 21 on the year. And that one is going to deflect off Beverly's foot. So a bit of bad luck makes it 3-2 now in favor of the Cougars. And Shields is heating up. And Brandon, you remember, you're a basketball player. You remember those NBA street games where the little guy got a trail of fire behind him? And
oh, yeah. Childhood memories.
So Marks over to Smoot, and Smoot will split the defense by Mary Baldwin. She goes wishbone style, and Mary Baldwin is going to take a timeout to regroup after it has given up 4 consecutive points to the Cougars after jumping out to a 2-0 lead. So right now, Hannah Shields really bringing the heat, jumping on the Nolan Ryan Express here early on in the game. And it has propelled the Cougars out to a 4-2 lead. And we're going to take a quick break here on the Averett Sports Network. And so we're back here on the Averett Sports Network. Hannah Shields back to serve for the Cougars. Averett out in front 4-2 after trailing 2-0 early on. And the Fighting Squirrels, sorry, I forgot the mascot there for a second. Set by Slack, and that's going to be a delivery from Scott. Averett there. And Rosenbaum brings a heater of her own, and it is now 5-2 Averett. So Averett 5 consecutive points with Shields at the line, and you know head coach Danny Miller has got to be saying right now, just let her stay back there the rest of the set. And make it 6 consecutive points for the Cougars, and it is now 6-2. And really, to be fair, Brandon, to the Fighting Squirrels, Hannah Shields is a force of nature. You can't stop her. You can just hope to contain her and put her in a little silver box, but she will find a way to break out. Shields. And that's going to be Scott. Little miscommunication by the Squirrels, but they do get the ball over. Sarah Smoot, a nice defensive play by Sharon. Marks over to Rigsby. And Scott tries to chase it down, does a good job of avoiding the press table over there. And it is now 7-2, and Hannah Shields right now is on fire. 7-2 is your score. Ball over. There's the set by the Fighting Squirrels. Number 21, Scott, over to Smoot. Marks with the set, Rigsby. And excuse me, that's actually going to be Rosenbaum, and Rosenbaum's going to pick up another point there. The senior out of Bluff City, Tennessee, getting the start tonight, and she's already picked up a couple of points, Brandon, and it is now 8-2. And gives Shields another service ace, and right now you almost got to wonder, are they going to get her off the line? And we're going to have another quick timeout. We'll take it with them here on the Averett Sports Network. And we are back here at the Grand Center. 9-2 is your score. Brandon, sounds like maybe a little Rihanna coming through the speakers there.
I'm not sure who that is.
I'm not sure. That's
not my kind of music.
I was going to say it's not mine either, and plus it's a young man's music. So I don't know why I had such a hard time with that.
It's all right.
So Shields gets it over.
Another tough serve.
And Shields right now really camping out on the line. I wonder if she thinks she's out there trying to get tickets for Duke's regular season games. There's the set, number 4 from the Fighting Squirrels. Corlson trying to get it over, unable to, and 11 consecutive points now for the Cougars, Brandon, and it looks like number 17, Brianna Williams, is looking at coming into the game. Either that or she's practicing for the Dance Dance Revolution Marathon that the Cougars might have after this. And there's another point for Averett, 12-2, and so Mary Baldwin, a good start, getting out to a 2-0 victory, but the Fighting Squirrels have now conceded 12 consecutive points. So that's going to be Sharon. And number 4, Corlson. And Corlson will get up and drop a brick. And it's now 12-3 as Mary Baldwin will snap Averett's 12 consecutive point run right there. Up to that point, Averett had been on a 12-0 run. And so we're going to have Scott back on the line, the senior out of Fayetteville. Shields to Marks. Marks over to Rosenbaum, or Rigsby. And a nice defensive play there by Sharon, but in the end, that was going to be tough for her. She had her back towards the court, facing the benches, and hard to get your arms set and get them around to be able to get that to a teammate. So Emily Stanley, the libero, back on the line. And let's see what happens here. We would like to apologize for the technical difficulties we have been having throughout the game. Really comes with doing live broadcasting. We will try to get it fixed when we have a moment, but for right now, we do apologize for the inconvenience. Stanley over, jams up Scott. And it is now 15-3. So Stanley delivered a little bit of apple butter over to Scott, and Scott could not get the lid off the jar there. It's 15-3, so Stanley. And so another point for the Cougars. 16-3 is now your score, as number 12, I believe that was Schiavone, unable to handle the Cougars' attack. So Stanley getting the ball over. Nice play there by number 3, Isaac. Nothing going there. And excuse me, that was actually Isaac on the play before that, as we now see Schiavone coming into the game. The sophomore out of Newport News, defensive specialist, defensive setter. Stanley back on the serve. 17-3, Averett. There's the set by the Fighting Squirrels. That's going to be number 4, Corlson. Number 22, Marks to Shields. Shields has freight train coming to your house. And it's now an 18-3 game. And Averett right now just sitting back on cruise control. Everything going its way. And Mary Baldwin definitely reeling a bit, looking for a way to start trying to claw their way back into this game. 18-3, so Stanley. And I actually should say set number 2. Hall, a nice effort there over on the far side of the court, but it is in vain. And we now have a 19-3 game. So Averett well on its way to continuing its set winning streak to 10. Stanley getting the ball over. Nice play there by Schiavone. And that's going to be number 5, Sharon. Smoot, and Smoot is going to get it past Schiavone. And it is now 20-3, Averett. So Stanley back on the line. So Brandon, it's really been Stanley and Shields throughout this whole first set.
Yeah, it looks like they're stuck in a tough rotation right now.
They are, and Miller knows what he's doing, no doubt. 23rd season here at Averett. Stanley over to Marks. Marks over to Rosenbaum. And Rosenbaum showing why she's on the court. She'll pick up a point, and it is now 21-3. And Stanley back to the line to serve. Here we go. Ball over, and number 5, Sharon, unable to handle it. And it goes out. 22-3 is now your score. So Stanley back one more time. Mary Baldwin looking to get her off the line, as it has been a deadly combination of Shields and Stanley back on the service line tonight. And that's going to be number 4, Corlson, trying to send the ball over, unable to do it. And the score is now 23-3. So Stanley back on the service, looking to get her team to set point here. Ball sent over. A nice defensive effort there by the Squirrels. Ball is alive. It was alive as it drops to the floor, and the score is now 24-3. So Averett just needs one more point here to increase its winning streak to 10 sets. And I think that's up. And Mary Baldwin, a nice effort there, but the point will go to the Cougars. So does the set. And Averett, as we said, just in absolute cruise control right now. We'll see if they will continue it over in the second set, or if we'll have a a little bit more of a back-and-forth match. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back here in a little over 2 minutes on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on the Averett Sports Network. And I am Davin Wilson, joined here today by Brandon Baker. And we are getting ready for the second set between the Averett University Cougars and the Fighting Squirrels of Mary Baldwin. Averett a 25-3 victor in the first set. And once again, we mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, but we do apologize for the technical difficulties tonight with the camera. We are working with it between sets. But as you can definitely see, it's definitely flashing in and out, but we will be here the rest of this match to bring you at least audio commentary, so you can still keep afloat of everything that's happening. Mary Baldwin leading things off with its serve. That was Sharon. And I believe that was Brianna Williams getting in on the action. Averett now leads 1-0, and Brandon Williams, just a sophomore, but was talking to her the other night at the women's soccer game, and she's really going to be one of these ones that's going to hold I think a lot of different records before she's said and done. So Jordan Minton there. And so number 11, Wood, into the game as libero for the Cougars. And Williams is going to beat Mary Baldwin's defense. And Averett already out to a quick 2-0 lead, as it's going to be Kaylee Steelman back at the line to serve for the Cougars. Steelman, the junior out of Kinston, North Carolina. So number 5, Sharon. That ball is pushed over. There's a set by Miller. Scott, Williams, and Sharon. So there's a set by Miller. Minton gets up there, and Minton is going to beat the Fighting Squirrels, and it is now 3-0. As Steelman will go back to the line once again. She has not left since the beginning of this set. So it's going to be number 5, Sharon. Ball is pushed over, Wood. And that is going to be, I believe it was number 9, Corder, Lindsay Corder. And Steelman once again back on the line, 4-0 Averett. And Averett right now really just cruising along, singing a song here. So Sharon, and that's going to be number 3, Isaac, Miller, Williams. That's going to be number 5, Sharon. Ball sent over or set by Slack. Sent over by number 8, Beverly. Minton again. Minton with a nice push. And that is going to split Sharon and number 4, Corlson. And it is now 5-0. So Jordan Minton, the senior out of Harrisburg, North Carolina, already with 2-3 quick points here so far in the set, representing half of the Cougars' points. So that's going to be number 11, Slack. Steelman, Miller, Minton, and Minton with the ups there as she's going to drive that one home. And another nail in the coffin for the Fighting Squirrels. It is now 6-0. Steelman back to serve again. Ball is pushed over, number 11, Slack. Williams, and Williams will push it past the outstretched arms of Corlson. Corlson, a nice play, but I think she had already started to move a little bit too far to her left, and the ball came in to her right. So Steelman back again to serve. 7 consecutive points, make it 8 now under her service. And Averett right now 8-0. Mary Baldwin will take a timeout, and we're going to take it with them here on the Averett Sports Network. So we're back here. Steelman with the serve. It's going to be number 11, Slack. And Minton, Miller, and Williams. Williams firing the big guns right there. And it is now 9-0 Averett. So Steelman back once again. 10 consecutive serves now here to start the second set. And Beverly, Scott. Scott pushing the ball over. Miller ready for it. Wood, the libero. And we're going to have an illegal touch on the Cougars. They will say a double tap. And granted, you can get away with that in video games, but not in volleyball. So 9-1 is now the score. Ball pushed over. Miller. Minton. Minton's serve or attack met nicely by the Fighting Squirrels. Miller. And that is going to be Cora. And Scott and Mary Baldwin, Brandon, putting together what was its most impressive rally so far, probably this whole entire match.
Absolutely. That was a great back and forth rally right there.
It was. And Brandon, I joked around a lot when Virginia Wesleyan came here and said watching that game was like watching Forrest Gump play ping pong because it was a lot of back and forth in it. And Mary Baldwin picking up its second point as Corlson able to pick up Mary Baldwin's second point. 10-2 is the score. Williams out. Dedez in. And number 21, Scott. Wood. Miller. And that's Dedez. Number 5, Sharon tried to get it over, unable to though, and it's now an 11-2 ball game in favor of the Cougars. So we're going to see number 20, Lexi Rosenbaum. Brandon, I think it may be time for some new glasses. If you get Emily Stanley and Lexi Rosenbaum confused.
They got long hair covering up their numbers. It's not your fault.
And that ball goes out. And that's going to be an Averett point. 12-2 is now the score. Rosenbaum with the blonde braided hair and Stanley with the dark hair. So Brandon, it's like I always tell you guys, you know, when you make a mistake, own up to it and find a way to joke around about it and keep rolling. So
Absolutely. That's the only way to take it in.
that's it. They can't all be zingers. So 12-3 is now your score. Wood and Rosenbaum. There's the set by Slack. Number 4, Corlson. Ball's now in Averett's side of the court. Rosenbaum to Scott. That's going to be number 11, Slack. Ball pushed over by number 8, Michaela Beverly. And the freshman picking up the Fighting Squirrels' 4th point, 12-4. And so right now, Mary Baldwin on a 2-0 run, cutting its deficit down to 8. And it's going to be number 8, Beverly serve. A little bit too much sauce on that one. And it'll go out, and it's 13-4 now. So Mint back on the line to serve. It's going to be number 12, Abby Taylor, coming into the game for the Cougars. And Mint sending a missile over, met by the Fighting Squirrels' defense, and Corlson had the nice attack there, but Dedez jumps up there. She's there for the block, puts up the brick wall, and it's 14-4. Brandon, you're a basketball player, wasn't it? Dikembe Mutombo who did the thing where
Yes, sir. Wagging the finger.
wagging the finger. You can remember those from all those Geico commercials he used to be in. You always got to worry about a guy's mental stability when he's in a grocery store
Oh, yeah.
blocking pieces of lettuce. So Mint back on the serve, and Dedez is there to meet Mary Baldwin's attack. And it falls in. 16-4 is now your score. Second set, midway through. So Mint back on the line. Mint a line drive. That almost looked like it came off the bat of Giancarlo Stanton. And Mary Baldwin unable to handle it. It goes out of bounds, and it's 17-4. And Brandon, speaking of Giancarlo Stanton, I know it's a completely different sport, but I read somewhere where he hit a ball that came off the bat at 118 miles per hour last night.
That's insane.
So Mint serve met by Scott, pushed over by Sharon. Taylor dropping the left-hand action on it. And Sharon, and nice attempt there by Sharon, trying to keep it on that touch line on the side. Unable to do so, though, and it's now an 18-4 game. So Mint back to serve one more time. And Brandon, she is getting very comfortable back there.
Putting some heat behind that serve, making it hard to pass for the other team.
She is, and very hard to protect against something when it's coming that hard at you. And Dedez will get hit with the attack error right there. And it is now a 18-5 ball game as number 5 Sharon will step back to serve. No, Corlson, excuse me. Wood to Corer. Rosenbaum. And I think that confused Scott a little bit. Looked like she had it, unable to get it in though, 19-5. So it's going to be number 12, Schiavone, coming into the game for the Fighting Squirrels. Brianna Williams coming in on the libero switch for the Cougars. And so Dedez now on the line. So number 4, Corlson. And that's going to be number 8, Beverly. Ball pushed over Minton. Corer. And Taylor getting up there. Nice play, though, by Corlson. Dedez. Corer with the set. Rosenbaum. Nice defensive play. That ball almost sailed up into the scoreboard. Corer. Williams. And Williams' attack. Not able to find the inbounds mark. 19-6 is now your score. So we're going to see number 11, Whitney Wood, back into the game. Minton over to Corer. Wood pushes that one over. Nice defensive play here by the Fighting Squirrels. Wood to Corer. Corer over to Rosenbaum. That is going to be number 4, Corlson. number 11, Slack. And that's going to be number 8, Beverly. And Taylor getting up, and Taylor drops in a bullet. And it's now 20-6. We're going to have some switch-ups here. Scott back into the game for the Fighting Squirrels. Meanwhile, Miller into the game for the Cougars. She is back to serve. And, of course, before Hannah Shields ran off her 7 or 8 consecutive service aces to start things off here, Miller was the team leader in service aces. We'll still have to get an official stat on that, but I'm sure that record might have been challenged. So Wood, Miller, Taylor, Wood, Miller, Corer. Nice play there by number 4, Corlson. And Williams is going to be Corlson. And Brandon Williams just jumped up there, looked Corlson right in the eye, and smacked it home for the point. And it is now 21-6. So Miller back to serve. And Miller's serve a little bit too much sauce. And it's now 21-7. So number 5, Sharon, back to serve. And Miller to Taylor. Sharon. And that's going to go to the Fighting Squirrels. I missed the referee's signal on that.
I think it was a net call there.
I think it was a net violation. Thank you, Brandon. Wood, Miller, Williams, and Williams showing she's got finesse too, as she just drops a little finger roll in there. Almost kind of Dr. Jade that one, and it's now 22-8. So we've got Steelman coming back to serve now. Cougars needing just 3 points to run their set win streak up to 11. Now they just need 2. 23-8 is now your score. And Steelman, Brandon, despite the score, Mary Baldwin has played much better in this second set. Able to put together a couple of rallies. Corlson. And that's going to be number 8, Beverly. Beverly, a nice idea there going opposite court, but unable to straighten it out. And it is now 24-8, set point for number 8, Steelman. And that's going to do it. So we are through 2 sets here. We will let these 2 teams change sides, and when we come back, we will have the 3rd set here from the Grant Center. Averett coming out on top, 25-8. We'll be right back here at Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, we will let Fallout Boy lead us back into this third set as we are 15 seconds away. And Brandon, you and me and our wonderful cameraman, Ian Burnett, excuse me, I got your last name wrong there. Sorry. We were all jamming over here to some Fallout Boy on the commercial break.
Taking me back to my middle school days.
There you go, and thanks for making me feel old, Brandon. I was junior in college when this song came out, so thank you.
Hey, anytime. That's what I'm here for.
So we've got Mackenzie Miller back on the serve here. Trying to see if they can get something going. Or actually, keep it going. And that's going to be number 8, Beverly. Beverly with a nice play. But that's going to be one too many touches, I believe, on the Fighting Squirrels. And Averett out to an early 1-0 lead. And Mackenzie Miller back on the line to serve. And a little miscommunication on the Fighting Squirrels' part there as the ball falls aimlessly to the floor. 2-0 is now your score. And once again, we do apologize for the technical difficulties. Unfortunately, Brandon, it is a part of show business, as much as you can call this show business. So Mackenzie Miller back on the line to serve. Ball sent over. It's going to skim the net, but it does get over. Miller. That was actually number 2, Stanley. Didn't recognize her in the white jersey, Brandon. Used to seeing her in the blue of the libero uniform. But either way, Averett, 4 consecutive points to start things off here. And Miller back on the line once again. And Miller gives the Cougars a 5-0 lead. And, Mary Baldwin, they really are working hard on trying to build a program up there. I'm sure, Brandon, it is probably hard for them to get recruits to go up there with it being a all-girls school. And then also it's in a, rather remote location. And so I'm sure they might have a hard time recruiting, but we still have seen a lot of progress, or at least I have, over there, a lot of progress in their athletic departments over the 4 years I've been here. And Scott almost fools Miller, but Miller there. Stanley, and Stanley is going to split the tandem of Sharon and Corlson. And now 7-0 as Averett has picked up right where it left off at the end of the second set. 7 consecutive points for a 7-0 lead, and Miller getting a little bit too much grease on that one. A little bit too much elbow grease. 7-1 is now your score. And number 3, Nyla Isaac out of El Paso, Texas. And her serve is a little bit too much. And it is now 8-1. So Brandon Isaac a long way away from home. And so we're going to see Tamia Baker Johnson come into the game. Johnson, the sophomore out of Silver Spring, Maryland, making her first appearance tonight. And I believe, too, we are going to see number 4, Harper Scolo, come into the game. Scolo, the Dry Fork native, not too far from Averett's North Campus. Scott back to serve. And Miller there at the net. She says my favorite song is Brick House, and she's there with the block. And so Mary Baldwin's going to take a timeout here. We're going to take it with him. 9-2 is your score. We'll be right back on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Third set action, 9-2 is your score. Wood back on the line. So Wood, the freshman out of Penn Laird, Virginia. And give the point to Mary Baldwin. 9-3 is your score now. So Mary Baldwin coming out of that timeout a little gassed up. They're looking to keep it going. And so it's going to be number 5, Sharon, back to serve. Or no, excuse me, that was number 8, Beverly. And Stanley put some smoke on that one. Nice play by Scott. Ball pushed over nicely by Slack. And that's going to be a point for Rigsby. And it's now 10-3, so we're going to see number 9, Lindsay Corder, come back into the game. And so number 9, Corder, back to serve. Corder serve into the net. And she will get hit. Not hurt. She will get hit with the service error. And so we're going to see number 12, Schiavone, come into the game, as well as number 3, Isaac, for the Mary Baldwin Fighting Squirrels. And it's going to be number 4, Corlson, a name we've been saying a lot, Brandon, so far.